Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name is Riley. You may know me as Honey Rags, you may not. I'm a full-time reseller and I'm actually doing a what sold video today. So I know it's long overdue for those of you who kind of keep yourselves updated on my channel and my videos. So kind of sweaty. How do you guys like the Sherpa, by the way? Normally I don't like make comments about things that aren't reseller related, but I guess this is clothing, which is my strong point. I went to 5 different stores. No, I'm not exaggerating. On a Saturday to find a nice Sherpa. I went to Victoria's Secret Pink, Bon Mar, Target, Aerie from American Eagle, and I ended up actually settling on this one from Walmart. Out of all the places I went, I got one from Walmart. It's usually unlike me to buy new clothing, but with Sherpas, they get so like rolled up and linty if they're overused. So anyway, that was useless. The thing about this what sold video is if you've been frequenting my channel, you know that I always show you guys like the clothing that sold, and sometimes I'll mention like there were other things that sold, but I don't really put them in the video. The reason for that is I've always resold anything and everything. I've never been secretive about that. But the brand Honey Rags, I've always tried to keep clothing exclusive. And if you watched my last video, you will know that I did a poll over on Instagram, just basically asking you guys if you would rather me keep Honey Rags clothing exclusive, or if you want me to show you everything that I resell, including liquidation, including vintage, collectibles, hard goods, stuff like that. And surprisingly, 92% of you guys answered you want me to show you everything. So I don't want that other 8% to feel like I'm pushing them out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys the clothing that sold first, and then I'm gonna move on to everything else that sold. So if you're not interested in anything but clothing, just stay for the first part of the video, and then I'll let you guys know when the clothing is over. Around Q4, which is the 4th quarter of sales around the holidays, clothing starts to slow down for me, and other things like liquidation and collectibles start to speed up because people are buying gifts. So you may be shocked at the ratio of clothing versus like liquidation sales that I had. Normally, like after January, the clothing starts to pick back up again, and liquidation stuff, collectible stuff, vintage stuff will start to slow down just a little bit. But you know, it's hit or miss. It's always dependent on how much work I'm putting into each section, whatever. So I don't want you guys to feel like I'm switching up on you, like, oh, she's not doing clothing anymore. No, the majority of what I do is clothing. Honey Rags will always be like mainly clothing focused, but I'm also going to show you guys the other stuff. So hopefully that made sense. It wasn't like I was repeating the same thing for the past 3 minutes and 45 seconds. But anyway, it's also, this may be a bad Tuesday to show you guys what sold, only because Poshmark was really slow for me over the weekend. So these are the sales from over the weekend. I should clarify that. Not last week, but like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe some yesterday. I also sold some on my fiance's account, but the thing with his account is usually I will put like the electronics and stuff over on his account because he is better at inspecting them, making sure everything is working than I am. So usually I will just list them on his account, and I didn't screenshot the sales from his account before this video. So there were some things on his that I'm not including. So yeah, I'm just gonna dive in. So let's start with the clothing. Like I said, you guys are gonna be shocked. Poshmark was slow last week. I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know what's going on. I was putting effort into sharing my closet. I wasn't getting the return on my like time investment on Poshmark last weekend, I should say. So the first item here are these Citizens of Humanity jeans. I sold for $25. I was sitting on these for a while, but I mean, I probably paid $2.99 for them, so I'm not mad about it. I sold this LL Bean vintage fleece for $20. I sold this Prana dress. Prana is like an activewear yoga brand. You guys know I love my Prana. I even pick up their older labels sometimes and they seem to sell. Obviously, it's not like a high dollar amount, but I just wasn't having that much activity over on Poshmark, so I was really accepting lower offers than what I might accept otherwise if I was having a good week. And I keep saying weekend. I sold this Patagonia zip up for $15. And I sold this Lane Bryant dress for $24. That was it on Poshmark. Yeah, you guys, I wasn't kidding. It's not always like back-to-back sales on Poshmark, and I was sending out offers, so I don't know. I'm kind of disappointed about that. But this is a 1970s like utility dress that I listed on Etsy, and this sold on Etsy. I had it listed for $22.50, but I ran a sale for like 25% off, and this one sold. This vintage Western jacket sold pretty quickly. I think I got it like maybe a month or 2 months ago. It sold for $42, and I paid for shipping, but obviously shipping was only like $2.67 like that. And this sold over on Etsy. This sold on Etsy as well. It's hard to see in the picture because of the high contrast, but it was just a vintage like 1970s floral blouse. I sold it for $19. This was also on Etsy. I sold this vintage like Flower Power retro tie, and I really wanted to get more out of this. I think I sold it for around $15, and I paid for shipping, but I have been sitting on this thing for like over a year, and it's really cool, so I have no idea why it wouldn't move for me. This sold on Etsy. This I sold for like $10.50. This, if you've been following me for a long time, I bought a huge lot of like vintage and antique jewelry. This was not from that lot. This was something that I bought like in a costume jewelry Ziploc bag bundle thing at a garage sale that I paid like $2 for the entire thing. So this is a Flintstones gift wrap that I paid like probably $1 for. I sold it for $10.50. So sometimes I pick up like little quirky things that I know I'm not really gonna like make money on. Well, I technically did make money on this, but was it really worth listing and sitting on and shipping out for like the $6 profit I had after shipping? Probably not. But I've been reselling vintage longer than I've been reselling anything, and just quirky little stuff like this. I think this is from like the late 90s. Sometimes I just can't pass it up. I just have to give it a good home. Okay, on to eBay. So eBay really pulled through this weekend. I sold this Torrid pullover sweater for $15.50, but I did not offer free shipping, so I didn't have to pay shipping on that. Okay, I know I sold like a cardigan on eBay too, but now we're moving on to liquidation. And this may be new for some of you to my channel, so I'm not really going to go into detail with each and everything, but you guys can kind of just get an idea of like things that sell, and you may be surprised by how much they actually do sell for. So these are apple caps, which was like a formula for dogs. And obviously I do want to say this, if you're doing liquidation and you're doing like beauty and makeup supplements or things like, I don't want to say baby formula, but you know what I mean, stuff like that. Obviously with vitamins and supplements, there's like a tamper seal, and then if you open the cap, there's another, I don't know what it's called, like that aluminum metallic looking thing. Obviously if it doesn't have the aluminum thing, it's already been opened. That's a big no-no, you can't sell that. But there should be a tamper seal on the outside packaging as well, depending on the product. So anyway, there's another rant. Yeah, anyway, those sold for $45 and free shipping, but I paid like $2.60 to ship them. So that was a really good sale, considering it was just a tiny box of like dog supplements. I sold this Magic the Gathering Commander Pack, which is from 2015. It was a little beat up, but I had it listed for like $68 because the sold comps were really good, but I kept getting offers around $35. So finally I just accepted the offer because it's getting around Christmas time. I really don't want to sit on stuff like this. These I took a gamble with. They're like DuPont faucet mount cartridges and certain like water filters and stuff that's made for a specific appliance and maybe discontinued, or you can't just run into Walmart and get it. Stuff like that sells pretty quickly depending on the item. Obviously do your comps. This sold for $19.95 with $5 shipping. I sold this Dragon Naturally Speaking program, which was unopened, but the box was pretty, like it had some shelf wear to it. I sold it for $19.50 with free shipping, so not bad. I sold 2 of these Manscaped lawnmowers. So the box was open, but I had like tested these all out. Obviously had to make sure like the product wasn't used because that would be gross. But yeah, they both sold for $67.50. So that was, these were a really good liquidation find because I think I paid like $4 or $5 for each of them. I sold this Google Chromecast digital media streamer for $40. So stuff like this, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't know the most about it. So what I'll do is I'll have my fiance, like, if he has to open the box, I'll have him open the box and inspect it and just make sure everything's good, because I really don't want to get a return or negative feedback because I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to like electronics. But my fiance is the expert at that kind of stuff, so I always have him like overlook these things. I sold 3 of these Little Hippo children's sleep trainers. I still am not completely sure what their purpose is, but they are a pretty hot seller, and I listed 3 of them, and all 3 of them sold at $34.99. I sold this I can't talk. I sold this Screen Beam Mini 2. Still not quite sure what that does, but it was a liquidation item. Oh, here we go. I sold this. This is funny and sad. I sold this cardigan for $6.30 on an accidental auction. I think when I listed it, eBay like automatically had it set at $6.30 because of their estimated auction price. And I probably hit buy it now and put like $17 on it, and then maybe hit the auction button again, so it went back to $6.30. I would definitely not have sold this for this price, because I've sold J. Jill linen cardigans for like $15, $16 before. But I mean, that person's getting a deal, so good for them. I sold this testosterone supplement, like this natural supplement stuff. It's a testosterone booster. And here's what I'm trying to tell you guys with the tamper seals. If you look really closely at the very top of the cap, it has a tamper seal with a perforated edge that hasn't been touched. So the box itself that it came in didn't have a tamper seal, which I was kind of disappointed about. But when I actually opened it up, I realized, oh, it has a tamper seal at the top, and then there's probably a secondary tamper seal when you open the cap. I don't know, I'm just guessing. Anyway, this sold for $32. I picked up 3 of these Femdophilus, I don't know if I'm saying that right, supplements, which are like a formula probiotic, and I thought that they would be worth more because the comps I looked up, I was looking up the 90 capsules, and they were selling for like $35 to $40. So I picked up all of them that they had at this liquidation stop, and I realized once I got home that they were only the 30 capsule packs, which sell for less. So I'm still making money on them, but not the most, because I'm offering free shipping. Would I pick them up again? Probably not, unless they were 90. I sold this cleansing facial foam for $18 with free shipping. I just barely shipped this one under £1 too, for first class. And that is it for the sales on my personal eBay account and Poshmark and Etsy. I haven't sold anything on Relove over the weekend, and like I said, I just didn't screenshot the electronics and stuff like that sold on my fiance's eBay. I sold an Elkim hair dryer for $75. Some Baby Bliss like hair curler thingy for $37, stuff like that. I guess it's not technically electronic, but you guys get the gist. So it was a good weekend in sales. Like, I'm not gonna complain. It was just not a good weekend for clothing. So hopefully on my next what sold video, I can show you guys that the clothing's picking up, because it's really unlike, I don't want to say unlike me to not have sales in the clothing department, but yeah, that was a pretty odd ratio. But I thought maybe I should just not do a reseller video as planned, but you guys really want to see the ups and downs of reselling, and if I'm having bad weeks, bad weekends, I'm going to be honest with you guys. So yeah, those are my sales. I think I'm just going to end this video here because I feel like I've been like over talking the entire time. So thank you so much for watching, and happy selling.